The big game is here. Who do you got? Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Craig Bennett, aka Cash Keg, back with another Underdog Fantasy Pick'em video. We got the big game today. We're going to talk about it. They got a free play basically for you. Jalen Hurts over a total yard, over a half a total yard. It's a free play. So I won't talk too much about anything with Jalen Hurts because I'm sure a lot of you will use that play, and make sure you do when you're doing your plays today. So that one's still up there. We'll talk about that. Again, if you don't have an Underdog account, use that promo code CashCake and get that 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Link is in the description below. And hey, we'll just keep knocking these videos out. Hopefully they help you. Big game today. It's going to be fun. I think the Eagles kind of win this one in a close game. But it wouldn't surprise me. It's hard to go against Mahomes here. But let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to win this game? And there's so many things that are out there, out in the sports books as well, that follow me over on Twitter. And I'm going to drop a few sportsbook plays that I do like at Keg4540. So with that, let's just dive in and talk about the big game. All right, we have the Underdog Fantasy Pick'em board up here. Again, they've taken off some plays that I did like. We'll talk about them anyways, but the ones that are grayed out means that they're no longer available. That doesn't mean they won't come back. That's just either they're probably taking on some of those plays and they pull them down and adjust the line, or sometimes if they get hit too hard, then they'll pull the line down and put it back up. So, but the first one we got to talk about here is the free square specials. Jalen Hurts over a half total yards. This is just a no-brainer to take the higher. Don't hit lower and then have to go into try to help what's going on. But just take this thing. Just take it. First one we're going to talk about. I talked about it earlier today, but with some of these plays pulled off, I have to talk about it. And that's Patty Mahomes over 25.5 completions. I think that they're going to have to throw the ball a ton here. He's had a lot of time to let his ankle heal up. He went over this in that Cincinnati game. If Philly slows the ball down, gets up a couple touchdowns early or something like that, we should see a lot of throwing. It's just like KC seems to get the job done. It always seems like when you watch them, but it's never pretty. And it usually comes in a fashion where I feel like they have to come from behind sometimes. In a game like this, with how talented Philly is, if they can put up some points early, we should see a lot of passing. And like, it doesn't have to be down the field. Kelsey's going to get the ball a ton. I think Tony's going to be a big part of this game. So I'm going to keep going higher than the 25.5 completion projection that they do have up here for Patty Mahomes. Coming down here a little bit, I'm not going to go up, but I do like the higher than 11.5 rushing attempts, but only if you see this game being extremely close and not Philly getting up early. If you think it's going to be just back and forth, nice and close, control the ball, 7-7, 10-7, 14-10, like that, then I would like his over 11.5 rushing props. I mean, he's basically been the number one running back for a while, and they run the ball. So I don't mind taking that one if you want to look at, Pacheco at the 11.5 rushing attempts. McKinnon, I'm not touching because I don't know what they're going to do. He could go out and have a big game or nothing at all. I'm not guessing what they're going to do there. The one Kelsey play, again, I was going to talk about was the reception touchdowns. I like this one. If it comes back up, this is my favorite one. If we look back into the playoffs over the last few years, he's had a touchdown in each of his last 5 playoff games going back till last year. So the wild card against Pittsburgh, he had a touchdown. Divisional game against Buffalo, he had a touchdown. AFC Championship against Cincinnati, he had a touchdown. And then he had 2 touchdowns against Jacksonville this year, and then Cincinnati had a touchdown. So he's going to get him the ball. That's my favorite one if you can play it. But without that, I do think I'm probably going to look at higher than 79.5 reception yards. I just think it's a spot where in Cincinnati he had 78 the ball. But again, Mahomes' ankle was kind of bummed up there a little bit. And again, he only had 8 targets, 7 of 8, 78 yards. But before that, Jacksonville, he had 14 receptions for 98. If we go back to playoffs last year, championship game against Cincinnati, 10 for 95. Divisional round against Buffalo, 8 for 96. And then Pittsburgh, he had 5 for 108. We go back to a Super Bowl against Tampa Bay in 2021. He had 10 for $133, 13 for 118 in the AFC Championship game against Buffalo that year in 21. So again, like I said, he's going to be involved a lot. We know it. Everybody knows it, but he's still going to get the ball. Like, they just run plays to get the ball. So I'm going to take higher. Again, if the touchdown's there, I prefer that one, but it doesn't mean I won't look at the over 79.5 reception yards. I'm not going to touch Juju at all here. I do think the last one we're going to talk about that I like is Kadarius Toney, and higher than 27.5 reception yards. And with him, a lot of it has to do is they got to get him the ball. They just have to get him involved, and it just comes back to, is he going to be completely healthy, which he should be, and just get the guy the ball in space. Like, when he's got the ball in space, he's just so electric here. So at 27.5, he could get that in one catch, one bubble screen. I wish we had receptions with him that were 2.5. 3, I don't think I love it. The juice was massive on the over on some of the books out there at the 2.5 line at -140. So if you did feel better at the receptions at 3, probably has a higher chance of just, hitting that in a sense of, he's not going to play a ton of snaps there, but when he's out there, they're going to get him the ball. So I don't mind if you want to look at the receptions. If it was 2.5, that would be my favorite play, I guess, what I'm saying. But if we look at the last 4 games, and I think he got hurt in that Cincinnati game, but before that he had 71 against Denver, 18 against Vegas, and then 36 against Jacksonville. It's just a spot that I do kind of like here. And again, if you want to take receptions or receiving yards, that's where I'm looking at it. But if you come down here again, some of the ones I was looking at, the last one I'll talk about here actually, and the lines moved. I just see a lot of these have got grayed out. Is I wish this was at 4.5 because I love it at 4.5, but I still think it's viable at 5. And it's Dallas Goedert. I really think it's still viable at 5. Like I said, I took it this morning at 4.5 out there, and some of the books were almost at -150 at the 4.5 level. So he's had 5 or more receptions in each of his last 3 games, and it's a spot where I think they're going to continue to get him the ball plenty here. So we look at last year, he faced KC last year, had 5 receptions against him. But again, I think they'll try to control the clock, run the ball, some quick outs to Goddard. He seems to always be open. The targets have been there for him, 6, 7, 5, and 6 over his last 4 games. So it's just one that I do like. I wish it was at 4.5, but I still think you can take it at 5 here. And then if you look at everything else, again, a lot of things are grayed out still. So there's nothing I absolutely loved. I like the Butker field goal, but again, it's grayed out. If that comes back, I like higher than 1.5 there. But that's what we're looking at. Again, make sure you turn this insurance on. If you're playing a bunch of these, I can't do it under boost to play, but turn this on. If you don't have the special on, turn the insurance on. So, if you're playing 5 plays, again, if we take the Jalen Hurts and throw something else up there, I would probably, turn that thing on. If I was going to look at one Jalen Hurts play outside of the free play after you play that, I'm probably looking at, again, his rush yards is the one. It's already off here. So, it's a tough one here. Maybe 10.5 rushing attempts. I know that he's got that shoulder as well. Everybody's kind of beat up, but I don't mind that one. Higher than a half rushing touchdown, I don't mind that one either. Those are probably where I lean. I don't really want to touch completions or pass attempts because I do think they'll try to run the ball here. But that's what we're kind of looking at. Again, enjoy the big game today. It should be fun. I think there's only 2 NBA games, so I'm not going to do anything with that. Going to enjoy the Super Bowl festivities. And again, if you want to join us and check out some more plays, got a ton of plays up on the board this morning for the big game. So check us out in the Patreon streets. And like always, appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you don't have that Underdog account, use that promo code CashKeg. Get the 100% deposit match up to $100. And I'll see you on the flip side. Deuces.